virtually at the Circuit of the Americas near Austin, Texas. I am John Lindsay. I am joined today by my good friend Will Falls. Will, how are things going?
Things are going great. The sun appears to be setting here in Austin, Texas, but it is daytime with beautiful weather at Circuit of the Americas here in iRacing. As you mentioned, we've got a lot of prizes on the line tonight. First off, we've got over 40 entries, and with 40 entries comes the top tier paying of cash from the National Auto Sport Association. Winner of this race is going to be taking home $500 cash. That's a lot on the line for this. Second place, $225. Third place, 100. Fourth place, 75, and $50 goes to fifth place. Also, there's a cash hard charger award for tonight. So if somebody has an issue in qualifying or does really well or figures out this track throughout the 45-minute race, they're going to get $50 sent their way. Also, we're really lucky to have our usual partners on board for the sim racing program. Toyo Tires will be paying out their top tier for this event with over 40 starters. First place is going to not only be taking home $500 cold hard cash, but 500 Toyo bucks. 400 Toyo bucks to second place, 300 to third, 200 to fourth, and 100 to fifth. In addition to Toyo Tires, we have Hawk Performance on board paying out their contingency. 100 Hawk bucks to the winner of this race, 90 to second, 80 to third, 70 to fourth, and 60 Hawk bucks to fifth place. Additionally, we have a couple contingency sponsor partners on board for the overall championship for the Pro Sim Racing League. Competition Motorsport, the official equipment supplier to the National Auto Sport Association, has pitched in an OMP TRSE racing seat. This is a beautiful seat. I've actually sat in it myself at Competition Motorsport here in Austin, Texas. It's a beautiful black seat with white stripes. Folks already getting dicey here in qualifying.
Yeah, no
And
kidding.
brought on board just yesterday, our friends at Racers360 have an awesome member benefit. They've included a 7-day trial to all NASA members for their Racers Lounge. This is a really great tool with all kinds of tips and track walks and driving techniques, and a 7-day trial to all NASA members. And the winner of both of our pro and clubs leagues are going to get 1 year access to this tool to help them out. So hopefully folks will get on, and if we're running at iRacing tracks that they haven't driven at, they'll be able to use that tool on their week trial, and our overall champion will get to use that all year next year. So thankful for our partners, and back to you, John.
Once again, folks, this is the qualifying session. So we were watching the practice sessions earlier, and I think we had about 17 racers within less than a second of each other. So very exciting. We see some familiar names from our club race. We see Brandon Panis is there, also Gun Kim, who had a great run going in that club race. And Ferenz Arabian, you can also see, is in this qualifying session. So they're looking to complete their first lap and mark a qualifying time, which will set the grid for the big race. And again, the cars we are using is a fixed setup. This is the Global MX-5 Cup car from Mazda. All of them set up identically. So this is really a battle of the driver and not of someone who's able to tweak certain things with their computer. And it's hard. I mean, it's still hard for me to believe this is online and not a broadcast from the real world because it looks so realistic.
Hey,
So we
John,
are.
I
Yeah.
just wanted to let you know in the pro league we actually are an open setup. So this is everyone's
Oh.
getting to run their own setups here, and so you're going to see some setups that are actually set up specifically for this qual session, and then they'll be switching to setups that are designed for the 45-minute race with far less camber. So the lap times will be a little different.
Right on. And folks, that is a longtime NASA driver and iRacing expert, Ken Kurtz, dropping some knowledge on me there. So this is open setup. So there's some tweaking involved with trying to make the bits and bytes do a little different setup there. You know, as we all know at the track, you usually have a qualifying setup where the car is set up to just do a couple of fast laps, but not necessarily last for an entire 45-minute race. So you will make significant changes. So that is happening here. Thanks, Ken, for correcting me on that. And right now we are watching some of our cars coming kind of on the back side of the course there. Not seeing any times coming up just yet on the feed. But again, a lot of kind of big names in this race. Will, you were telling me earlier about us. We have some pro racers joining us.
Yeah, Wyatt Gooden, right to the top of the timesheets. He's a pro sim racer, clicking off a 232.0, just close to that 231 barrier, which I think we'll see. As Ken talked about with open setups, you can't control weight and ballast and such. You can control ride height, but one thing that these folks will do for a 15-minute qualifying session is dump all the fuel. So just like in real life, the car will be lighter and a little more agile, and they won't have as much fuel load on in this session. So we should see some really quick times coming through already under in the 232s.
Oh yeah, I mean, Wyatt Gooden's just a scrape away from the 31s. We did see, I believe it was it John Allen that got down and had the top time in practice? It was a low 231. I think
it was. Yeah,
and he was the winner of our club race, right?
He was second to Austin Cobb here, and they put on a beautiful display of racecraft last week. And I think we're going to see a lot of drivers turn in really close times to those two guys. So we'll see how he does when he comes across here on his first lap. Now, one thing that's really cool, iRacing typically does a closed session for most of its races where you get 2 laps with the track all to yourself. Well, we're doing this NASA style, just like we do at events. The track is green, the pits open up, all the cars go out. So there's a lot of real work here to be doing with not only putting down your best lap, but managing traffic with 58 other cars on track with you.
And that's a good point, Will. You can see we're on board right now with Wyatt Gooden, and he is having to work that traffic as he comes through some of the cars that are going a little bit slower than he is. Again, he's our top qualifier so far with a 232.01. You can see on your display there, you can see he's going different miles an hour, shifting gears and such. And it's really neat to be able to be on board just like we would in the real world, even though we are in the virtual world, but there's real money on the line. We can't go to the racetrack just yet, but we certainly can enjoy some racing. And thanks to all of you for joining us here on our Tuesday night races. Next week, we will have our club race, I believe. Will, correct me if I'm wrong, because I've been wrong a lot. And
That's correct. The first and third Tuesdays every week will be the club league, and the second and fourth will be the pro league at all the same tracks that the club league goes through the week before. So it's a great opportunity for folks to jump in and try it out and see how they stack up against the competition. And then the pros will have the opportunity to see those tracks and practice on them and race with other NASA drivers, and then switch to the open setup the following week. So should be a really good transition and a ton of fun. We got a great schedule outlined for the next 18 weeks, all the way through August.
Well, hopefully we're back to real racing by then, but this is pretty cool as well. And Wyatt Gooden has now dropped the top time to a 231.50. So he is flying. You see some familiar names there. P4, Matt Crushy, longtime NASA racer. Lots of time behind the wheel. Hunter Leidick, I believe the son of our longtime friend from the Mid-Atlantic region, Kent Leidick, who has been a wizard in our CMC Camaro Mustang Challenge for years. So the next generation is online and right now in P3 with Hunter Leidick.
Ooh, and we saw a big melee there in the S's. Not sure who was involved there.
Well, the cool thing is you don't have to go to the garage and get the sledgehammer. You just hit reset.
Yeah, that's a great benefit of iRacing. The challenge that these folks have is there's only 6 minutes left, and these cars are modeled on the Global MX-5 Cup car, which races on a true racing slick. And there's a lot of complaints on this car with it taking a couple of laps to get heat in the tires. So it's going to be tough at this point, if you do have a melee, to get back out there, get the car tires warmed up, and throw down a good flyer. So right away, we've already got some contenders for the Hard Charger Award, potentially.
Yeah, no kidding. And folks, we are, of course, here. It's our NASA Sim Racing Pro Race tonight. I'm John Lindsay. I'm joined by Will Falls, my friend from the Texas region. And we also have Ken Kurtz popping in. He's actually in the race, so Ken will pop in with some expert commentary from time to time. Again, thanks to all of you for joining us here for our Thursday. Good Lord. See, I keep forgetting what day it is. I don't know if you at home are having this problem, but you wake up You have no idea what day it is. That's where I am in the quarantine so far.
This segment brought to you by Southwest.
Yeah. So we are very blessed to be supported by Toyo Tires, Hawk Performance, and Competition Motorsport. They are big sponsors of ours and really help us in the real world. Now they're in the virtual world too, offering big prizes to all of these NASA racers here. And of course, this is the Pro League, so there is prize money on the line, $500 to the winner.
Yeah, that's right, John. The entry fees go into a prize pool. The max payout is $1,000 total for the prize pool of over 40 entries. $500 cold hard cash going to our race winner tonight. $225 going to second, 100 to third, 75 to fourth, 50 to fifth, and a $50 cash hard charger award. In addition, Toyo Tires, Hawk Performance, Competition Motorsports, and Racers 360 all have prize packages for this. For example, the winner tonight's going to take 500 Toyo bucks. The winner's going to get 100 Hawk bucks. And the winners of the leagues are going to get great prizes from our partners at Competition Motorsport and Racers 360, and OMP simulator rig racing seat from Competition Motorsport, and a 1-year pass to the Racers Lounge with all the tips and tools and tricks and track walks from our friends at Racers 360. So an awesome prize package for the folks doing virtual racing that get real life prizes for when we're ready to go back to let's call it outdoor racing instead of real racing, because
I like
this
that.
is as real as it gets with cold red-blooded competitive humans behind the wheel. This is competition, man.
This is extreme social distancing for racing. So once again, folks, Will, now tell me in the race how the reset button works. So let's say you wad the car up during the race. What would happen?
Yeah, so we've allowed folks, you can limit how many fast repairs you get, they call them. You hit the reset and you get a virtual tow back to the pits, and you sit there, depending on how bad the damage was, for a certain amount of time. It's usually a couple minutes for the crew. And at that time, from the cockpit, you can select if you'd like new tires and any more or less, or any more fuel put in the car. But they do simulate doing some repairs to the car. And then the car is fresh, brand new, and you can go back out. In our racer meeting notes that Clifton Winkleman gave a nice little driver's meeting before we went live here. He mentioned that if that is the case, that not to impede traffic when re-entering the track, because there's a good chance you could get, by circumstance, put right back on track in front of the race leaders. So our race director has asked all competitors to be respectful of lap traffic and such. But as far as the iRacing reset button goes, you get a brand new car and you get to go back out on track. Now, some might reference the Bubba Wallace rage quit here. It's still really important for racers to continue racing in this, as with season championship points and prizes, and the field pays all the way through all the spots in this. So being able to suck it up and go back out and turn laps and collect some season championship points will put you in a good position for later on this season, and certainly for the end of the year. In addition to that, the Pro Sim League has 2 race drops. So if you go out, do your best, and still do better at all the other events, there's still a chance at a season championship. And it's like that, just like in NASA racing, where you get a chance to throw away a couple of races usually in your regional championship and still fare pretty well.
All right. Well, it is still very tight at the pointy end of the grid here. You can see that everybody up to about P12 with Todd Honkarenko there, they are all right together within a second of each other. And like Will pointed out, I mean, yes, this is virtual racing, but in some of the other professional leagues with IMSA and NASCAR and things like that, what you do in the real world or the virtual world has some pretty big implications in the real world, as Kyle Larson found out the other day. So we are almost done with our qualifying session. There'll be a brief delay while everything gets tabulated, and then we'll start our race. Whoa, a little Fender music there. Someone cut across someone else's bow. We couldn't see the numbers because they were on and off so quick and into the wall. But again, they're just a reset button away from brand new setup and straight fenders and, nice shiny new tires and maybe a Gatorade or something.
Man, look at these times, John. This is going to be a
wow.
race for the books. Top 10
Epic.
separated by mere hundredths.
Look at that. Look at your top 5. That is unbelievably close.
And it's great to see our top 2 from last week stuck together again. Austin Cobb and John Allen. Austin, our inaugural club league winner, and John Allen was second. And there they are, stuck together again in qualifying here.
And they didn't touch. I mean, they put on an absolute clinic. They were absolutely, super close the whole race, right together, and they never had any contact or anything that could be deemed unsportsmanlike. They really did a great job. So we'll be looking for them to come roaring up to the front here as soon as we get done with this qualifying session. Qualifying now is over, and we're going to wait for the results to tabulate. And then it's time to go racing. Once again, this is the NASA Sim League, and we are the NASA Sim Racing, and this is the Pro League. So this is for the big dollars, real world money on the line, big contingency prizes from all of our partners, Toyo Tires, Hawk Performance, and Competition Motorsport all kicking in. As Will said, also Racers 360 offering some great advantages there. So hang with us, folks. We're going to tabulate the results, or more accurately, iRacing, and what a great service iRacing is, and how they built all this, and really keeping us all still in the sport and enthusiastic as we are in a very strange period in motorsport. I don't think this has ever happened before, where every track around the country is on a hard shutdown. So very thankful to have this for all of you to enjoy. And of course, a big shout out to iRacersResource. That's the group that is making all of this broadcast happen. Our man PJ Losey is on the job and helping us as our producer here in the virtual world. Once again, I'm John Lindsay. I'm joined by Will Falls. And then we also have in-car commentary from Ken Kurtz, who will be in the race. So we'll be able to bring you the full picture. Once again, we are at the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. So it looks like about 6 cars still on the track, not officially closed yet. Looks like someone's going to put it in reverse there and park it. Oh, actually, they just blinked into out of existence. That's kind of cool. Yeah, there's your reset button, folks. So that was almost like, Star Trek, where someone said, make it so. And all of a sudden they just blinked off.
That was my buddy Corey Brazil from NASA, Texas here. It's pretty cool to see his iRacing car. Looks just like his real Miata in real life, and really cool to see the NASA Texas stickers on there. Appreciate that, Corey. I'd like to take a second to talk about our friends from Competition Motorsport. Competition Motorsport is the official equipment supplier to the National Auto Sport Association. It's where I get all my safety gear: helmet, suit, shoes, gloves, Nomex, action cams, data acquisition, roll bars for a lot of different cars. They're great friends here, and all NASA members get a nice discount at Competition Motorsport. You can check them out at competitionmotorsport.com.
Thanks, Will. We also have Toyo Tires and Hawk Performance on board, longtime supporters of NASA. And so, as we said, the top racers here will be winning real world prizes. Big bunch of money there from Toyo, then in the form of Toyo Bucks, which they use to purchase Toyo tires in the real world, and also Hawk Bucks, which are used to purchase the highest quality brake pads that you can put on your competition car or on your street car. I happen to run Toyo tires on all my street cars. As soon as whatever came on them is done, I'm always on Toyo, and all of my cars have Hawk Performance brake pads since the early days. I remember the old days of the Hawk Blues and the HT10s, and always running those on my race car. Really a great product. And of course, Competition Motorsport there in Texas with Will, providing all of the safety gear that you need. All right, grid is starting to come up here. Looks like Wyatt Gooden is out front. Then Hunter Leidick, followed by Matt Cresci, Eric Foss, Austin Cobb. John Allen is right there. Then John Price, Harry Vogt, Jason Walsh, then Gun Kim, Foreign Zarabian, and Brandon Panis. That's your top 12 for the grid here, getting ready to start at the Circuit of the Americas. So, Will, what are you looking for on the start? 5 wide or 6 wide?
Man, the Spec Miatas at the NASA Championships took it 6 wide in row 2 or 3, I think, and I think we could easily see that here as well. I'm going to go I don't know. At the same time, sim racing folks know this is a long race. They might be a little more conservative here. I'm going with 5. We'll see 5.
You know what? I'm a double down. I say 6, even half dozen. We'll see, but you have to remember you can't win the race in the first corner, but you can lose it. And you certainly don't want to be a Larry and come in there and take like 5 or 6 other people out on the first corner, because they will virtually beat you up. Looks like we're still waiting for a couple of folks to join in, a couple of missing spots there. So hopefully they can get in there. Maybe some kind of weird data issue or something like that says we're gridding there on our iRacersResource broadcast.
Green flag.
Green, green, green. You see the virtual puffs of smoke as we are going into turn 1. They're going up the hill into the first turn. Looks like we have, I think that's Wyatt Gooden way out in front. And they are flying, okay, 4 wide, maybe? 5. I think there was 6
We have
wide
a huge
there.
wreck on the start of this race. Big one.
Oh.
Big wreck.
And we're hearing from Ken, of course, right there that we have a big wreck back in the field. So don't know if it'll go yellow or not. Looks like we are still flying. Wyatt Gooden out in front.
iRacing will typically go local yellow while the racers start or reset.
Right. We know as race directors, it could be all over the map as to what you want to do. So it's cool to have a consistent, I guess Skynet is self-aware in throwing a yellow flag. All right. Well, I believe that is Wyatt Gooden right there. Putting on a big lead so far. That's got to be at least 5 or 6 car lengths, and they are not that far along into the race. So that is an awesome performance right there. Looks like we have about the top, I'd say 10 to 12 cars with a little bit of a breakaway, and it pass inside. Boy, that's early on in the race to be moving on up, but we already have some folks moving way up. Looks like so far I can see that Sean Shepard, number 88, is up 8 positions already, and we're not even done with the first lap. So you can see John Allen came into the view. Eric Foss in that number 48 car with a livery that reflects some of his past rides in IMSA and all of his experience. Super experienced pro racer and also a heck of an iRacer. Looks like a lot of interesting lines through there doing that inside line. And you can see, Will, I think you're right about the tires being cold, because I saw that one car just push right off track. So his tires are not hot yet. And that could be a real disadvantage when somebody else might have warmed up their tires a little bit more and is able to cut inside you while you just push to the outside.
Yeah, getting these tires up to temp first couple of laps, it's based on a true racing slick that takes a little time. This latest tire model on this car in iRacing with the most recent update, I've been told, is one of the harder ones to get used to. So it's really cool to see these guys getting after it right from the start.
If you look on your display there, you can see there's a lot of cars just kind of hanging out in the pits right now. There's, as Ken said, there's a big wreck. So the field is coming around the last corner there, and they're going to come onto the front straight and complete the first lap. We'll give you the top 10 running order as they come across the stripe. All right, leaders coming across the stripe now, headed up that big about 120-foot elevation rise into turn 1. Wyatt Gooden out front. Then we've got Matt Cresci, Austin Cobb, John D. Allen, then Eric Foss, John D. Price, then Gun Kim, Todd Hunk Sarenko, Lorenz Arabian, and Nate Olson. That's your top 10.
Really cool. Todd had moved up 5 spots on that first lap. That's quite a move in a really tough field here.
We can see on our feed here that Brandon Panis just had a shunt. So Brandon went off. Let's see instant replay. What happened to Brandon here?
He's in that front yellow car, I believe.
And kaboom, right there, maybe?
Not too bad, just a little fender music.
Exactly. The argy-bargy that they call it, the chrome horn, all those colorful things that we use when you give somebody a little nudge.
Actually looked like Brandon saw that coming in his mirror and left a little room. So that was smart on his part. He's still out there, no significant damage, and still turning laps.
Yep, looks like he's down 8 positions right now from his starting position on the grid. Looks like Sean Shepard has got another position, so he's up 9 positions. in the running for that hard charger award that we were talking about that also comes with a little bit of the green. For fans of baseball, I tried to work in, there's a great show, now that we all have a lot of time, there's a great show called Brockmire that you can watch with the legendary Hank Azaria. And he's a baseball announcer that, well, let's put it this way, he's really funny. So once again, seeing the leader right now, that is Wyatt Gooden putting on a clinic. Last time and best time was a 2:31.75, so he's running darn near his qualifying time. Matt Cresci right there. The interval between the top 10 is very, very tight. Actually, the top 12, there's great battles going on all throughout the field. Looks like when we get down to P22, there are cars that are out of the race and potentially in dry dock right now getting fixed up.
John, this is amazing. This goes to show, we talked a little bit about the draft earlier today, and it looks like Austin Cobb and Matt Cresci have cut Wyatt's lead in half, working together, staying close, not racing each other, but staying nose to tail. And it looks like they've got a shot to catch him here.
They're both running 31s and down in that range. Looks like Gooden's last time by, he slowed down just a little. So I don't know, hot tires or, just...
well, there's a few things, John. Wyatt could be working really hard on saving the car for the end and not overdriving it. And of course, Matt and Austin want to be at the front, so they're going to work together to make sure that Wyatt can't get too far away. I'm certain there's a lot of strategy going on here, though.
On board right now with Austin Cobb, you can see he's running P3 with Cresci and Gooden just ahead. So that's an exciting view right there. Looks like they are catching some potentially slower traffic. So this is almost like in basketball where you want to set a moving screen or, a pick, and you want to be able to get some of those slower cars. Not that there's anything wrong with being a little bit slower. And you try to use those cars to put your competitor at a disadvantage. Whoa, almost had some contact there. Cobb almost went into the back of Cresci. Looks like Cresci went off course, had to go a little bit evasive there. So they are racing hard. Looks like right now we are 6.5 minutes into our 45-minute long contest. And once again, folks, we are at the Circuit of the Americas virtually. This is the NASA Sim Racing Pro League. We had the Club League last week, and every Tuesday night we'll be bringing you racing right here on all of our different channels. Oh, kabang. Oh, that was Cresci. Oh, my gosh. That is a huge development. Look at him falling down, and it looks like Eric Foss was involved there too. Oh wow, that's a big development. They got together in that one, and that really shuffled the top 10. Right now, 1 through 5, we've got Wyatt Gooden, Austin Cobb, John Allen, Gun Kim, and John Price. That's your top 5.
Oh, that's a bummer.
All right, well, my feed is freezing a little bit, so hopefully you all at home have a little better connection than I do. But again, very exciting race happening here. Gooden still out in front with Austin Cobb and John D. Allen and Gun Kim all in hot pursuit. Of course, Allen and Kim and Cobb all had a great battle the other week at the club level. Now they're here at the pro level. So, Will, explain to us the difference between the club and the pro levels.
Yeah, there's two big differences. The club race is going to have a fixed setup, and they're mostly going to run in the Miata. The Pro League is going to have, they've got a $49 entry fee, and we turn around and put up to $1,000 worth of entries back into a prize pool. Not just the cash prizes, but the pros are going to use some different cars besides just the Miata to create some more challenges for them. And they're going to have open setups, meaning they can change all the suspension settings in the car. So it's going to take a little bit more investment, and there's going to be some more prizes. The one thing that's really cool between the two leagues is they both have similar contingencies from our friends at Toyo Tires, Hawk Performance, Competition Motorsport, and Racers 360.
Now, looking down the order a little bit in P26 right now, Mark Smith is up 30 positions from where he started. So he's taken a run at that coveted Hard Charger award. Now, of course, now they say that now he's 27. So a little bit of the good old announcer curse right there. So I do see some good familiar names. Mickey Miller, of course, longtime BMW racer, Will, from SoCal. So it's cool to see all of my old friends out there racing now, all of us adapting. You know, us dinosaurs are now adapting to the virtual world. I'm working on trying to get a setup and then have my kids tell me how to use it. So once again, we are at almost 10 minutes down of a 45-minute race. So probably about 25% done or so if my math holds. And we are at the Circuit of the Americas. Wyatt Gooden still out front, but there is basically no interval among the top three. They're still all right together. That's Gooden, Cobb, and John D. Allen. Gun Kim's about 4 seconds back from them, but he's got John Price and Todd Honkarenko all over him. So great shot right here. We're looking back at Gooden, so we have the world's fastest drone right now. Looking back at Gooden, you can see Cobb and Allen are both right there. Now, a little bit difference in the lines. Now, Will, you have a bunch of time at COTA. Is there any specific line? Do you stay off the paint, or do you really want to use that paint?
Man, with a facility with this much pavement, not just on the track, but with all that runoff, these guys are going to be using as much pavement as they can. One thing that's often discussed about Circuit of the Americas is track limits. In iRacing, iRacing will automatically account for track limits and assess an incident point. What we've done in this league is given everybody up to 50 incident points before they have to do a drive-through penalty. So they're watching when they get incident points, they get a little notification pop up on their driver screen. And trust me that the drivers at the pointy end of this field know exactly where two tires take incident points and where they don't, and they'll be planning to use them accordingly.
So that's almost like lifting when you go up the hill at Laguna Seca, right, at WeatherTech Raceway.
Exactly.
Trying to fool the sound meter, and then somebody pops out from behind a tree with another sound meter, and you get the old meatball waved at you.
Exactly, and that just shows a lot for competitive drivers. For every rule us can write, drivers and teams and racers will be thinking about how to deal with it, and that's part of the game.
Well, water's wet, the sky's blue, and racers bend the rules a little bit. But on board right now with John Allen, we had a great shot there showing how close he was to Austin Cobb. Of course, Wyatt Gooden just putting on a clinic. We'll call him the professor because he put on a absolute clinic in qualifying. Best time for Wyatt so far, a 232.19, but his last was still a 232.84 with Cobb at a 32.02 and Allen at a 32.10. So they are right there.
Yeah, we saw Austin Cobb and John Allen dicing it up last week, and you throw a pro sim driver like Wyatt Gooden into the mix, and this is going to be an epic show, I have no doubt.
So we were talking about some other pros. Will, Bruno Carnero, that's a familiar name. What can you tell us about Bruno?
Yeah, Bruno's a great kid. I got to meet him when he was just a karting kid in the NASA Utah region. He was one of our early teen racers there with NASA Utah, our good friends. And he's done some driving in NASA Utah, and most recently he's been driving in some professional Formula Car series in Asia. So this kid is no stranger to training, sim training, and professional driving. So he's a nice kid. He's got a great father, and really nice to see him at our NASA Utah events.
Now looking down at P16, there's Dan Williams. He is our NASA Rocky Mountain director. So we've even got some of the, and of course, Brandon Panis, the son of the great Jim and Julie Panis. Of course, he gets all his driving talent from Julie. And that's the family that runs our Southeast region. So it's great to see Brandon there. He's a shoe in real life, and he's certainly a shoe in the iRacing world, and he's doing quite well. P14 right now, down 2 from where he started, trying to mount a charge up to the front. Again, looking down the order, I see Dave Stevens up 31 positions from where he started. So he's in contention now for that Hard Charger award. And Will, what does the Hard Charger get again?
Hard Charger is going to get $50 cash mailed to them, courtesy of the National Autosport Association. That's part of the Pro League paid entries. That's one of the payouts.
So lots of perks, folks, if you are at home watching your race car jack stands.
Check it out. Austin Cobb putting a move.
Oh, big move. I think he got him. Yeah, he did. Well, it keeps going back and forth. So we're watching our top 3 right there.
Door
they
to
are
door.
going for it, but look at the respect. No fenders, no touches.
Is John Allen going to capitalize?
Yeah, but he's outside, so I don't know what he can do outside, but he may be able to cut inside now and then mash the pedal and get around. So that's your top 3 right there. What a battle between Gooden, Cobb, and Allen. Watching them coming around. They're working lap number 5 right now, about to notch lap number 6. Of course, we are about 15 minutes into our 45-minute race, 1/3 done.
You know, one thing to keep an eye on is that interval between John Allen, or whichever one in this pack is going to be in 3rd place, and Gun Kim. Because the more that this top 3 dice it up like that, the smaller that gap back to P4 is going to be. And we know Gun Kim is a shoe. And if he can get up with them, should be able to dice it up even more.
All right, on board with Gun Kim right now, coming under the start-finish line, going up that hill into the first turn here at the virtual circuit of the Americas. Very smooth driving there from Gun Kim. He's about 3.75 seconds back from that lead pack of 3. If they have a touch or an incident, Gun's going to be right there ready to capitalize, but he's got John Price all over his 6, and Todd Honk-Sarenko is right there too. So we've got a battle of 3, then almost 4 seconds, and another battle of 3, and then all the way down the order, you're seeing very close racing. I can see now, looks like Anthony Harden's up 32 positions from where he started, currently running P20. That's number 16, Anthony Harden. And Zach Hillman, one of our GTS champions. Zach is up 25 positions. He had a big win at Mid-Ohio. Very proud of Zach, and good to see him here also racing well in the virtual world. Right now, we're watching Zach Hillman right there. Usually, Zach runs a really, really cool Porsche 944, all worked up by his family. I believe their business, his dad, Doug, they are a great racing family, and they tune all sorts of Porsches and German cars. And they notched a big win at Mid-Ohio this year. Zach's a great driver and also really a good wrench. So good to see him here in the virtual world. Wonder how he did his setup. I'm sure there were lots of discussions on how to have everything completely adjusted to perfection. Looks like some shuffling going on. We may have had an incident.
Oh, man.
Gun Kim is falling like the stock market right now. He's going way down the order. Well, no, he's way up now. What the heck is going on? Wow, that was very strange. But we still have Gooden, Cobb, and Allen. And then Gun Kim is still 4 seconds back, so we may have had a ghost in the machine there. The gremlins are working on the wing bolts here. So I thought it was really exciting, but it was just, it's still exciting, but not as good as I thought. All right, well, we're seeing a lot of shuffling going on. Down the field, lots of big moves. So whenever you whack into the wall or whatever, you do a reset, all of a sudden you fall down the order like a stone. So you got to keep it clean. And also, as Will was talking about, make sure you don't get a bunch of incident points. Looks like Allen had a great run on Austin Cobb there. Again, that's your top 3 right here. We are at the Circuit of the Americas. This is the NASA Sim Racing Pro League Tuesday night racing with NASA. John Lindsay and Will Falls here. We've also got Ken Kurtz popping in from time to time. Ken's in the race, but popping in from when he's not too busy to give us a little bit of expert commentary. Once again, thanks to our sponsors, Toyo Tires, Hawk Performance, and Competition Motorsport. All of them offering big prizes in the real world and the virtual world. So thankful to have them on board for our NASA Sim Racing Leagues. Once again, there's your top three. Looks like Austin Cobb is trying any move he can to get around Wyatt Gooden, and there's basically no space between them. You could not fit another car in between those three. Right. Oh, right now our battle for third, or actually this battle is P4. It's Kim, Price, and Hunk Sarenko. They're all right together. Looks like Price had a little bit of an off there. He pushed wide, had to go kind of a tad evasive. Now look at this. We got a drag race coming down with a potentially slower car with our lead pack of three.
And Austin got
wow,
him.
look at this. Austin Cobb managed to capitalize. We saw a little bit of bouncing around. Oh, and Gooden is going to take it right back. Maybe. What great racing. I mean, this is just as good as the real world, if not better. Racing so clean, lots of respect there. That's your top three, Gooden, Cobb, and John D. Allen. Again, about 4 seconds back to that next battle with Gun Kim, Todd Hunk Sarenko, and John D. Price. They're not that far behind, but looks like Gun is starting to get some space on the next two, P5 and P6. Zach Hillman now up 28 positions, actually 26, it changes so fast. Dave Stevens up 34 positions, and again, they're trying to win a little bit of scratch. Maybe, that's enough for a nice takeout dinner supporting a local restaurant out there in your community. But the winner, Will, what was the bucks for the winner?
$500 cash, 500 Toyo bucks, 100 Hawk bucks to the winner.
That's significant. I mean, that's entry fees, tires, and brakes for a weekend. Easily. Pretty impressive. Our leaders right now, just through turn one, you can see there's a big elevation change up and then a big elevation change back there. This is the Circuit of the Americas just outside beautiful Austin, Texas, in the Texas Hill Country world-class facility. Austin, of course, home to Will Falls and some really great barbecue. Will, which is your favorite barbecue restaurant there in Austin?
Man, there might be a crowd out front if I said what I'm thinking, but
you don't want to blow it.
yeah. I have to say, there's a lot of great barbecue in and around Texas, of course. My favorite single best brisket I've had, I gotta say, Louis Mueller, just about 30 minutes outside of Austin.
I went there. So when we had the championships in Austin, I tried to hit every barbecue joint I'd ever heard of, and I ended up flying home with a wicked case of the meat sweats.
Yeah, Louis Mueller's awesome. I've been told he's actually who taught Franklin how to barbecue.
Oh, very interesting.
So
right.
I stick with the old school.
Now I'm hungry. Oh, Cobb got around Wyatt Gooden. So we do have a change for the lead. Looks like a big crash there with Carniero, Pennington, Austin Edwards, and Zach Hillman all had a crash there on this lap. So that's going to drop them back down the order. All right, we're going to see the incident that just happened where took a couple of our competitors out. Oh, bang, 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 bang. Let's hit him again. He's crawling for the door. Hit him again. That was what an old buddy of mine who was in the Marines said that he used to say every weekend. Shout out to the sergeant.
Austin Cobb in the lead in front of Wyatt Gooden and John Allen. This is a pretty epic battle as they come through some more lap traffic here. Let's see how nice the traffic plays.
Yeah, and you never know, especially when you're coming around to the track entrance there. If someone just, decides to send it and goes right in front of you, well, there goes your race. So Cobb's out in front, Wyatt Gooden just behind, and John Allen, all of them right there. Gun Kim now only 2.8 seconds behind. Todd Hunk Sarenko is about 2.5 seconds back, and then Price is 3 and change back from Hunk Sarenko. So a little bit of a spread there, but there's your top three trying to get around lap traffic. And that was a very nice pick. I think Allen got hurt the worst on that one.
Yeah, it's a good heads-up driving by John, not forcing an incident. It's a bummer to see a great race get broken up, but I'm sure John can make up some time here.
All right, folks, riding along with John Allen right there. He finally got around that red car. trying to get around, and he is closing on Gooden and Cobb. Of course, Gooden in the blue car right there, Austin Cobb in the black car that is just ahead. And forgive me if I get the colors wrong. I'm working with an ancient monitor. I'll fix that for next week. A little bit of adaptation for the virtual world versus the real world. But hey, we can broadcast from the comfort of our own homes. I'm in unincorporated Yolo County, California. Will's there in Austin, Texas. And Ken is up in Reno, Nevada. But once again, we're all gathering together without having to buy a plane ticket and sleep in a strange motel.
John, before we get too far into this race, I want to take some time to answer some questions from the Facebook page. One question that sticks out is, what equipment are these people using? Are they sitting in a chair at their house? Well, to answer that question, there's a vast array of equipment. You can get started racing in this NASA Sim League with something as small as a $200 Logitech wheel off of Amazon. And you can race in this league with anything up to something like Denny Hamlin's $40,000 full motion simulator rig, and everything in between. There's almost no two simulator setups alike. I think what's very common to get started is a $350 Logitech wheel and pedal setup, a single 27-inch monitor, and a computer with a really good graphics card. A lot of the comments on the Facebook stream here are a couple thought this was actual real live racing.
That's so cool.
and the graphics are that good. And the better your graphics card is, the more detail you're going to be able to see, and the more realistic it's going to feel, either in front of your monitor or in front of your 3 monitors or with your VR headset on. So a graphics card is one of the single most important components of a PC build. iRacing does only run on a Windows PC, so you'll need a good PC with a good graphics card, a monitor setup, and a pedal setup. I run on a hand-me-down old school Logitech wheel and pedal setup on an old play seat, hand-me-down from our good buddy Scott Adams, who's actually in this race. Shout out to Scott for getting me started in iRacing in 2015. And I use a Oculus setup, the Gen 1 Oculus Rift, and it works great for this. Good detail, good driving feel, and you can go crazy from the $300 Logitech setup. You can step up to something like a Thrustmaster wheel that's a little bit more, and you can go full crazy with Fanatec pedal wheel setups that are, over $1,000. So really easy to get started, really relatively affordable to get started versus building an actual car. Oh, that would look like some lap traffic going around, getting out of the way for the leaders there.
They looked in their mirror and saw him and went, ah, and spun.
But yeah, so there's a lot of different means to get started in iRacing. If anybody's listening, you can PM me on Instagram, NASA_Will, or PM me here on Facebook, Will Falls, and I'd be happy to help anybody get started in iRacing, and certainly with NASA Sim Racing Leagues.
Well, in our top 3 here, putting on a real clinic, you saw John Allen taking a couple looks there. Different lines. Wyatt Gooden got out back in front of Austin Cobb. Of course, Cobb in the blue car there. Then in the multicolored black and white car, it looks like, yeah, that's Austin Cobb in the multicolored car, Gooden in the blue car, John D. Allen right behind. And some really awesome racing. Looks like Matt Kresge is coming back a little bit. He's in P8 right now. Todd Honksarenko, he's right with Gun Kim, P5. So those guys are having a great race. There's some good separation between Kim and Honksarenko. But of course, our top 3, Gun Kim's about 3.5 seconds back from the top 3. And obviously in some lap traffic. I'm seeing some impressive charges. It's funny because they come up and then something happens and they go back down. But I can see Ryan Logan's up something like 27, 28 position. But Trevor White in P13, look at this, Will, up 44 positions for a minute there.
That's awesome.
As soon as I talk about him, he goes down. The good old curse. Looks like I can see Will Watana Wankiri back there. He's up 18 positions now. Good to see Will out here racing with us. Brandon Panis has recovered from his earlier shunt. He's now up 1 position from where he started, running P11. Top three still really smoking it out there. They're 4 seconds ahead of their nearest competitor. And there you go. We're following the top three around again. And this is just a masterclass right here, I think. With these three drivers, they are really exercising, well, they're not exercising good social distancing because they are within 6 feet of each other. But, you know, they are showing us really how to get down here at the Circuit of the Americas. So, Will, how would someone go about joining the Pro League here or the Club League?
We've made this really simple. It's based for our NASA members, and all you have to do is have a NASA membership and sign up on drivenasa.com. It's listed under nationally sanctioned events. If you'd like any more information than that, feel free to direct message myself or find us at www.nasaforums.com. There's a whole subthread for the NASA sim racing, and we've got a lot of information posted there. I try to be pretty easy to get a hold of, and you can reach out, and we'd love to get you started.
Very cool, Will. Looks like we are almost to the 30-minute mark. 15 minutes remaining now out of our 45-minute race. Again, we are at the Circuit of the Americas outside Austin, Texas. And this is the NASA Sim Racing Pro League. Big money on the line. Prize money, contingency funds from our friends at Toyo Tires, Huck Performance and Competition Motorsport, all providing generous prizes for our racers, along with some cold hard cash from the National Autosport Association, which is kicking back a large portion of the entries to our Pro League racers this evening.
John, I talked a little bit earlier about folks sticking in it, using the reset button, getting back on track and making up some points. Matt Cresci was involved in that incident we saw, worked his way all the way back up to 8th place already. Brandon Panis in 21st. Marcelo Vine we saw have an issue. He's worked his way back up to 16th. It's really cool to see folks stick it out and keep running.
I see Anthony Nguyen, he's at a 23, he's up 23. Ryan Logan up 27 from where he started. But again, this changes so quick because unlike in the real world, you can have all these things happening and it's very, very fast. It's so much fun to follow. And again, our top three, that's what you're seeing on your screen right now, going through the S's. And that's a very tricky complex. We saw a lot of incidents there during the National Championship at COTA. Of course, COTA is Circuit of the Americas. And we're getting towards the end of this race. We still have, let's see, about 13 minutes remaining, running at a lap time of 2.5. If my math holds, probably about 6 laps left until we see the checker. So they've got 6 laps to hang in there. Now, Will, is it possible to run out of gas?
It is possible to run out of gas with the open setup, like we talked about for qualifying. They'll dump all the fuel out, so they've got a lighter load for qualifying, and you have to be able to make sure that you've got enough in the car for a full 45-minute race. So there is a possibility of somebody running out of gas. I would hope and think that the pros with the open setup nailed it, but every once in a while in iRacing you'll see somebody miscalculate, getting a little greedy with the weight savings, and run out of fuel.
Oh, Brian Clark with some damage there. Looks like he is the last car still on the lead lap, and you can see some big damage there on the front end of Brian Clark. Looks like he stuck his nose either into the wall or perhaps into someone's back bumper there and kind of got the worst of it, but he's still hanging in there. You can see the car is. Now, Will, this is interesting because you can see the front end is kind of goofy where it's pushing a little bit, and you can see the car's kind of dog tracking a little bit. So that's extremely realistic.
Yeah, there's some damage.
Yeah. That's why I always painted my cars either Chevy Truck Ride or Rust-Oleum white, because you just kind of bang the bodywork out, throw a little Bondo on there, hit it with the spray gun, and then put a sticker over wherever you got hit. It's the good old 50-50 rule, which for folks, if you're not familiar with that in NASA racing, it's called the 50-50 rule, which is the car has to look good from 50 feet away at 50 miles an hour.
Yeah, John, on the topic of fuel, if they are running low, they'll get a low fuel warning, just like they would in real life from the car, and they can pit and take more fuel.
There come the leaders. The leaders, I think, just went by. the car we were following, Clark. Ah, that's so classy. Good for Mr. Clark there. He pulled over Brian Clark running in the number 46 car. He pulled over, saw the leaders coming, and let him go right by. His car is a little bit busted and unhappy. So, Will, you were talking about the low fuel warning. What can you do when you see that come on?
Yeah, you can panic. Yeah, you can pit, and your crew will dump in as much fuel as you select. Right from the driver screen, you can select how many gallons of fuel you'd like to take on. Also, people wondering about pace of the race. These tires are supposed to simulate the real tire model. So if somebody's driven too hard at the beginning of the race, approaching 45 minutes, they're going to run out of tire, and it's going to be a handful to hang on to. So iRacing is an extremely good simulation. As you can see, Wyatt weaving down the back straight to try to avoid the draft here.
Oh, yeah.
And break away. It even simulates the draft, and the draft is huge in these cars.
Well, now remember, you're only allowed one defensive move per corner, so you got to be a little bit careful there, or Clifton Winkleman will come down on you like a sack of potatoes. I think. He's tough but fair, just like Judge Judy. All right, so we are still watching the leaders. We're seeing a little bit of a spread. Looks like if we could take a look at Harry Voigt and Matt Cresci, they're right together. That's a 221 and the 32, P7 and P8. They are running right together right now. Of course, Matt, very successful in different race cars over the years with NASA. So there we are. There's Matt Cresci, I believe, and Harry Voigt. They're having quite a race. Very close. That's for P7. So Cresci and Voigt. Cresci trying to get around, as we noted, he had a little bit of a crash earlier, down 5 positions from where he started at P3. So he is trying to move back up after that shunt and driving the tires off of that MX-5 Global Cup car. So, Will, this is pretty much like real racing. I mean, we've got all kinds of prizes. We've got a race director. We've got everything in place. So it kind of is like the real deal.
You know, my first thought when I wanted to put together a league.
Oh, wow! Harry Voigt just went around. Matt Cresci, that was the blue car, was Voigt. He just lost the rear end and went around, pushed it a little bit too hard. I believe that was him. Yeah.
Did he get some help? No help.
No help.
Bummer.
Just a stiff tailwind. That was all it was, and just worked it a little too much, maybe a little bit too much input. And again, we are late in the race. We're at minute number 37 or so, right in there, 36, 37. So we're getting into probably the last, probably 8 or 9 laps of the contest here. Again, 45 minutes. We are in the NASA Sim Racing League. This is the Pro League with big cash prizes and contingency prizes from Toyo Tires, Hawk Performance, and Competition Motorsport on the line. So we're seeing lots of movement. Again, there's prizes for, Will, you sit down to about P5, and then there's also that hard charge. So still plenty to do. Looks like that's Dan Johnson. Dan's having a little bit of trouble there, but he's been doing pretty darn well. There's your leaders again. Looks like Gooden's a tad loose. Cobb trying an inside move. John Allen right there waiting for one of them to slip a little bit. Looks like Cobb had to get on the binders to not go into the back of Wyatt Gooden. Look at how close they are, Will.
This is good stuff, man. This is really good stuff. We're going to keep hearing these names, Austin Cobb, John Allen, Wyatt Gooden, week after week. I hope they keep coming to race because they just keep writing clinics for us. This is an epic display of racecraft. Beautiful display of racecraft.
Putting on the show. You wanted to see the best? We got the best, and it's not just the rest. Almost as good as watching, we were chatting the other day about watching some good World of Outlaws racing, and I love going to the dirt track and getting a big bucket of beer with the rubber shavings in it. And this feels almost the same, although I'm sitting in my office drinking herbal tea, but still, kind of feels like the real deal.
This is good stuff, man. This started as an idea to just get some folks together on Tuesday nights, and the first club league sold out in well, filled up. It's free league. It filled up in 40 minutes, so we expanded it from 60 drivers to up to 180 drivers, and now this pro league first night is full at its max 58 drivers, and it's been really fun. So we've done a lot of things to make this extra special, right? We're operating in iRacing under the NASA CCRs. So we've got an actual live race director, Clifton Winkleman from here in Texas, actually in the session live watching all this stuff, and he'll be reviewing all the video footage and assessing penalties per the NASA club codes and regulations. We've got real prize money, real contingency prizes. We've tried our best to make this every bit as real as we can in the current situation that we're in. And I love that we're sitting here. There's over 260 people watching our live stream on the NASA Facebook page alone, plus the YouTube page, plus the iRacersResource page. I just love the sense of the NASA family that we get to have on a Tuesday night here as Austin Cobb looks to the inside.
And look how far back John Allen is now. What happened? Oh, no, there he is. Okay. So Cobb and Gooden have now started to take the gloves off a little bit and start slapping each other around. They're not hitting fenders or anything, but they're getting way more racy. Looks like Gooden got back into the lead, but Cobb is going to try to go inside there. Kind of a brave move.
Oh! And there's Gun Kim.
And there's Gun Kim. He's moving up. Looks like Allen recovered, but Kim has more momentum coming into the corner. And Wyatt Gooden got the worst of that one. Looks like Austin Cobb may have got him right in the left rear wheel and sent him right around. So that's not great. Probably about 2 laps remaining. Okay, we'll get the instant replay cam here. See what happened? Right there, there's the touch starting. Oh, he leaned on him too hard. Boy, he's lucky he didn't get collected. So
Yeah, they touched.
That's pretty nice.
It looked like Austin did his best after they touched to try to get out of it, but let's see what Wyatt can do here. Put the visor down and see if he can chase those guys down.
So he's currently 3.5 seconds back from Gun Kim. Gun is right with John Allen. John Allen is 2 seconds back now from Cobb. So, Will, what would happen? I have my own opinion on how that looked, but what are we going to do with Austin Cobb there if he ends up winning? But then it looks like he sent Wyatt Gooden around.
Yeah, the official results will go into review, and our race director, Clifton Winkleman, will review all the footage and all the camera angles that we have and place it against the NASA CCR, Club Codes and Regulations, and assess a penalty as needed.
So throwing virtual paper, as it were.
That's how it works, man.
I guess you're PDFing it instead of walking it over to the tower.
PDF. Yeah, that's right.
PDF or get a DNF. There we go. So looks like actually John Allen and Gun Kim are having a great battle. The two of them are about 2.5 seconds back from Austin Cobb. Slower lap times on that last lap by because of that contact and having to go evasive. Now at 42 minutes, about 3 minutes left, so we should see the white flag coming out very soon. So once again, great race from those top 5. Todd Honksarenko, he's been on the move in P5 right now. Andres Prieto in P6, then Matt Cresci, Harry Voigt. Harry, of course, went around there. He was in front of Matt, and then Brandon Panis and John D. Price. Just outside the top 10 is Justin Piscatel, another one of our pros.
Really cool to see Brandon move his way all the way back up into the top 10 from falling back after an incident.
You can see some of these cars are pretty beat up. They definitely have taken some damage, but fortunately, it's not a big trip to the body and paint shop. It's just clicking the button. All right, following Allen and Kim, great battle there for P2. And not long to go. We're at 43 minutes now of a 45-lap race. Once again, thanks for joining us. This is the NASA Sim Racing League. And this is the Pro League, and we also have the Club League. We're here every Tuesday night for your viewing pleasure. Thanks to everyone for joining us, and we're getting into the final stages of our first Pro League race at this Circuit of the Americas. And Will, where are we next week?
Next week, we are at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca with the
Oh, one of
Club
my
League
favorite
kicking
places.
off a week from tonight. And then 2 weeks from tonight, the Pro League will be at WeatherTech.
And do we have sound restrictions?
No
Are you hoping
sound.
for no fog?
I'm guessing that I think I can make the safe prediction that we will not be fogged out of that one.
Right on. That's an absolutely beautiful circuit. Of course, recently some management changes there, and the new sponsorship forever was Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. Now it's WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. WeatherTech, of course, they make all kinds of cool stuff for your car. Racing family, really great bunch of people, so do check them out as well. And a big thank you to all of our sponsors. Will had mentioned, you have to have a NASA racing or a NASA membership to take advantage of our leagues here. But hey, once you buy that membership, it's not a lot of money, and boy, can you get deals on stuff. It'll pay for itself in one purchase.
Yeah, I mean, we have a whole page dedicated to NASA member benefits. If you'd like to see it, you can go to www.drivenasa.com, click on the member benefits button, and I bet you your first year, heck, your first weekend going back to the
First
track,
day.
you can save that $49 for your membership back. And like even our friends at Competition Motorsport offer a discount on every single thing in their store just to NASA members, and they sell everything from helmets to Nomex to driving suits, gloves, shoes, seats, harnesses, you name it, they sell it for us, and they give a nice generous discount to all NASA members.
And my good friend
We are
Alden
on the last lap,
Villanueva.
guys.
Last lap, my good friend Alden Villanueva, he's the man who puts all these packages together for NASA members. So big shout out to my buddy Aldrin. And you should check out that NASA membership because you can save some serious coin, and we are on our lap. All right, Austin Cobb still out front. Alan and Kim right together. So Gun Kim, if he wants to get another step up on the podium and put some more jingle in his pocket, he's got to get it done. There's the battle right there. Kim is in the blue car. John Allen just in front in kind of that funky green machine. And they are going for it. This is the last lap, folks. So Gun Kim is going to try to get it done. Of course, he wants to get it done cleanly because there will be a conversation, I'm sure, with Austin Cobb after that incident with Wyatt Gooden. And the great Clifton Winkleman will have to figure that one out and put his racing cowboy hat on and try to figure out how to deal with that one. So that's it. Winner, Austin Cobb. John Allen, Gun Kim, Wyatt Gooden just across right now. Waiting for P5 to come across. So, wow, Will, what another great race. P5 now Todd Honkarenko, then Andres Prieto. Matt Cresci, respectable, got up to 7th after all that drama that he had going on. We got a lot of people that looks like they're going to be eligible for that. Hard Charger Award, Harry Voigt taking home P8. Brandon Panis should have 9 locked up. Brandon's across the stripe right now. John D. Price would probably be up next. He's going to be the next one to take P10. Eric Foss in P12. Justin Piscatel, P11. So you
What
can
a
see the
race,
results
John.
coming in. Yeah, what a great race. I mean, the club race was great. This one was great too. I do regret a little bit seeing that contact that we'll have to sort out after the fact, but really good racing, really impressive sportsmanship there. And, a couple little incidents here and there, and it was really fun to watch this. I mean, this is our Tuesday night club here. Well, even though it's a pro league, it's kind of our Tuesday night racing club, right?
That's
So,
right.
yeah, pretty cool. So, Will, tell us a little bit more about when we tune in next weekend or next week on Tuesday.
Next Tuesday will be the Club League, which will have has up to 180 spots available. So in order to get 58 people into the main, we do some knockout qualifying. So there'll be 3 concurrent sessions running Tuesday at the start, and then we'll take an intermission to get the results all sorted and sent out to the top 58 of that group and put them into the main. We'll post here on the Drive NASA Facebook page when exactly all of that will be live broadcast, and then we'll do a similar night to this the following week for the Pro League.
And we are learning a lot every time out. We did have some technical difficulties with folks getting into the club league last week. We do apologize to anyone that missed out on that, but we're learning a ton every week, and we're getting better. And just like in the real world, we'll learn more as we go along. All right, folks, so we are just waiting for our final results to come in. We'll put up our final grid there. Looking down, Will, where do you see the hard charger? I see Will Watana Wankiri is up 21, as is Ryan Logan. So we'll have,
I had 25.
Ken Kurtz is up 37 positions, it looks like. So Ken, you may be our hard charger there.
Ah,
Pizza on us.
Nice.
Nice work, Ken. Let's see if Austin puts on a little victory show for us here.
Time to make the donuts. Maybe. Now, Will, would you get incident points after the checker if he did donuts and someone smacked right into him?
iRacing counts incident points all the way up. There we go. Some victory donuts from Austin crossing the stripe first. iRacing does count incident points all the way until the last car takes the checkered.
Awesome. Well, Austin, that's man, those are impressive. He's really good at this. He's a total hooligan.
Is he? It looks like he's signing his name, his initials, AC. Nice work, Austin.
That is full send. I love that. I mean, that is super cool. I mean, that's pretty. Keep it. You stay classy, San Diego. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, for anybody that wants to go racing for us, next week is the free week. Like John mentioned, it's the NASA Club Sim Racing League. It's free for all NASA members to join. If you'd like any information on that, please check us out on the forums at www.nasaforums.com. There's a whole sub-thread there. You can find me. You can DM me on Instagram, NASA_Will, or find me here on Facebook, Will Falls, and shoot me a PM. You can email me, will@drivenasa.com. Love getting people involved. Registration is open for next week's event at drivenasa.com. And if you need any help, please don't hesitate to reach out. Love to see as many people get involved in this. And we look forward to seeing you next Tuesday night. Take them away, John.
All right. Looks like everybody's starting to blink off the screen, just like the great Thanos had snapped his fingers. So they're all starting to blink away off the screen. Once again, folks, thank you so much for joining us and being part of the fun here. Big thank you to Hawk Performance and Competition Motorsport for sponsoring our NASA Sim League Racing. So once again, folks, this was NASA Sim League Racing. My name's John Lindsay. I was joined by Will Falls and Ken Kurtz. We're here on iRacersResource. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next week. Stay safe and stay healthy out there. Take care.